Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today, going to be a Patreon cast between Scarlett and Maru from DreamHack Valencia here on Moondance. Top left going to be Scarlett, the Canadian Zerg player, and in the bottom right we've got Maru, probably the best Terran player in the world right now. He's always had the ability, and he's won several GSLs. He just kind of goes up and down a little bit, but right now he is at the top of his game. So Scarlett's going to have her hands full here on Moondance. The map with a very safe third to take, right? So this is your natural, and then a little ramp leading down to here. This is your third if you want it, but it only has 1 gas and only 6 mineral patches compared to this third base, which has 2 gas and 8 mineral patches. So you just have to weigh the benefits. So pool first here from Scarlett at around, let's see, 16 supply. Yeah, it's not a 12 pool, but 16 supply and 17 hatch. Yeah, okay, so 16, 17, and 16 gas. It's not a standard build, but let's see what Maru does with it. He's doing normal stuff, right? I mean, this is very much Reaper expand timing for our guy. Oh yeah, look at that. Reaper on the way, gas perfect. Sending, this is the important part, right? Sending the SCV out to see if this was a pool first play or not. Again, not a 12 pool, but definitely, pretty darn fast pool here with the expansion. So, I mean, this isn't super duper concentrated aggression. Just, gonna make 6-lings, gonna send them out. Gonna see what they can do. And by 6-lings, I mean 2-lings. Nuts. All right, so this is where the SCV says, lings are out already. Okay, we gotta go ahead and keep this Reaper at home then to deal with these lings. By that I mean maybe moving out and killing him if there's only 2 instead of 6. So this Reaper's name is Maverick from the new Top Gun movie, Maverick. Yeah, it was good. I think I talked about Maverick already on the channel here, but I really enjoyed it a lot. I mean, it made a ton of money. People really had a great time with Top Gun Maverick. And if you haven't seen it, I recommend it for sure. All right, so popping on in. KD8 charge down. Trying to get a couple of these lings, possibly the slow lings, but with the queen shots too, not really going to happen. Interestingly enough, attacking into the main base instead of the natural first, but then Scarlett goes with a super fast third hatch. And a Roach Warren. Wow. This is an interesting build from Scarlett. It's a weird combination of early pool. Maybe she was worried about getting proxy raxed. Oh, and then Maru takes the third back here. Interesting. So he's okay with taking this third at the safe location against Scarlett, who really seems to be going for some kind of a Roach Ravager style, big style attack. And that's awesome. If you don't have to defend a third base against that kind of thing, like this wide open third or this wide open third getting attacked by Roaches and Ravagers is just going to be a bad time. But if your third base is back here, then the Roach Ravager has to come through this narrow choke, and you're defending this already. You can defend your second and your third base at the same time, and your main base, really, all at the same location, which is fan-friggin-tastic, too. So 7 Roaches getting thrown up instantly here from Scarlett. Let's see what she can do with those. And what is Maru up to? Well, he was getting a starport. Nothing crazy about that. If he gets a Banshee out, and he doesn't, it's going to be Roach Ravager. Having a Banshee is almost a cheat code. Like, you almost just straight up win if you go a single Banshee or a couple Banshees against a Roach Ravager play, because the Banshees are just constantly firing on these guys. Dodging Crucibles is really easy because Banshees are really maneuverable. But here comes Scarlett, and this is, oh man, kind of more of a standard opening here from Maru, right? Like, Maru's all, I went Hellions and some Marines and stuff. Got to pull the boys. Got to pull the SCVs out here to deal with this, and making sure this bunker doesn't happen. Nice pick off there. I mean, killing a supply depot is not a terrible thing either. SCVs are getting killed. Trying to do some micro here, maybe a little bit with these Marines. Nice KD8 charge. Does blow these guys away here. And you know what? It looks like Maru's going to be able to hold this. Marines are good units, man. Like, Marines with medic support can really kind of hold their own. Especially if SCVs get pulled. So 8 SCVs have died. It's 48 to 32 workers here. Scarlett's really been macroing behind this. Are you seriously going to try to... Why? You're going to try to kill these Ravagers? Okay, fine. Got one. I guess that counts. And maybe you can get the second one here, too. And this Overlord's going to die. thanks to this Viking positioning. Interesting. All right, well, I mean, that attack, again, killed 8 SCVs. 5 Roaches and a Ravager went down. I don't feel like that was a bad attack from Scarlett. She's up 47 to 38 workers right now. The income tab looks like this, which is really good for her. She's getting a Spore up because she was worried about a Viking maybe flying in, or probably a Liberator or a Banshee. More of a bigger concern here. Maruuuuuuuuu getting another barracks. Another barracks. So he's not going for the Mech Maruuuuuuuuu stuff here today. Like, I know most of the Maruuuuuuuuu stuff that we've seen in ZVT on the channel over the last little bit has just been Mech Maruuuuuuuuu. You know, with battle cruiser support and stuff, which is really very strong. But he doesn't do it every game, because if you have the same strategy in every matchup every time, you're just not... Players are going to adjust to it, and they're going to know how to take it down and deal with it more easily than if you mix up your strategies. So that's what Maruuuuuuuuuu's doing here. He doesn't have, I'm going to say, doesn't have the super fast quick third, but he does. It's back here. It's just not out in the front where I usually see it. So yeah, Viking, dodging Corrosive Biles, going to kill that Overlord. Yes! One more shot! Got it. Very nice. Vikings got 2 kills. 2 Overlords have been killed. These Queens are both very injured, but they're using, you know, they're using the energy for creep tumors and for injections. Double Evo Chamber coming in, 63 to 51 workers, taking the 4th base back here. Scarlett is very safe 4th base. Some people will save these bases for if the game gets into the super late game, right? And suddenly you've mined out here, you've mined out here, you're mining out here, and you're like, oh. And then you're happy that you have this base to mine from. It's very safe and much, much easier to defend than the ones that are further out onto the map. But both Scarlett and Maruuuuuuuuu are not interested in preparing for that eventuality here today, which to me indicates if we're going to see something a little bit more aggressive than, you know, everyone getting up to 8 bases in this game. But yeah, this is a Patreon cast. For those of you who do support me on patreon.com/Falcon Paladin for at least $1 a month, I do appreciate your support out there. And you get to watch this a month before anybody else. So if you're checking this out the first week of August 2022, thank you again for supporting me on that site. And if you're watching this later, like say, I don't know, September 2022, which seems like a long while away, but you know, time flies. Time has no meaning. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You know, just all that stuff. It helps me with the algorithm. So Raven flies in there, gets a couple kills, 2 drone kills down, not too shabby. Overseer's out from Scarlett for scouting purposes more than anything else right now. Detection, I guess, if there are cloaked Banshees, but I think she's aware. That's not really a concern at this point, right? We've got Medivacs, we have Vikings, and we have Ravens, but we do not have any Banshees at all. You can't really afford all 3 of those things. So Maruuuuuuuuu's not going to go for Banshees. He's getting a 4th command center, though, which is great. Raven flying around with Friend Cyclone, Friend Hellion, and Friend Medivac. Trying to just pick off some creep tumors here and there. There we go. You don't have to burn scans on this if you've got Friend Raven with you. And Scarlett's like, you know what? I don't actually care about that. Go! Roach Ravager attack. Ahoy! You have a tank and a bunch of Marines here. And are the upgrades finishing? One. Look at this timing attack. 1-1. Finishing from Scarlett right now. Absolutely beautiful. 1-1 is done for the Marines. The tank is getting some beautiful shots off back here. Another tank pops in just in the gosh darn nick of time to help with this attack. Couple supply depots are going to die. Maruuuuuuuuu is supply blocked. He's making 3 supply depots at a time, but he's not going to be able to really reinforce here as much as he probably would like to. Corrosive Bile finishing off an almost dead supply depot. Hilarious. Going for centrifugal hooks. Was throwing up a second Baneling nest, I think. And then she realized she already had one. Yeah. Oh, anti-armor mess. All we've been Dorito Cheeto dusted. Yeah, getting Dorito dusted right here is just, it means you need to back off. You do. The siege tanks do so much more damage. The Marines do a lot more damage too when your armor's been reduced. Because the Marines do tiny bits of damage frequently in that situation where armor means the most. This Raven's up here just being like, yo, I'm scouting everything you're doing. You didn't bring any Hydras or Corruptors with you, so I'm having a great time. Scarlett waits for it to wear off. Just absolutely tries to face smash in there for a minute, but the tanks are untouched. They're in a position where they can cover this choke, but they don't have to necessarily be in severe worry of getting Corrosive Biled. And Scarlett says, well, that didn't work out. Backing out here again. Maruuuuuuuuu, master of defense in TVZ. So hard to get massive amounts of damage off on him when he's in a defensive position like that. Still, there's a Spire on the way. I was going to say, like, there's nothing that can really deal with the Medivacs or Ravens right now. But there's a Spire coming in. Maru doing his more traditional style of being everywhere with Marines and Marauders and Medevacs and maybe some Widow Mines later in this game. I don't know that he has any Widow Mines, or is he planning on them. But you know what I always say, Widow Mines make this matchup a lot easier for a Terran player. Just a couple good Widow Mine hits at this level of StarCraft can be the difference between winning and losing. Like, you know, 12, 15 Banelings get smooshed by a single Widow Mine shot, and suddenly this attack that the Zerg's bringing is a lot weaker, you know? All for the cost of a single Widow Mine. Not bad. So Maru's got a 4th base, low ground, traditional, kind of a 3rd base location, but it's going to be a 4th for him. Because again, Moondance has the safe back base to take. Maru gets scouted up at the top right here, gets chased away. Maru unloading on the high ground. Maybe throw down another scan, kill some more creep tumors, deal with more Roach Ravager. Right up at his face here, but just too much. He's got the right comp for it. And again, Scarlett, 191 to Maru's 176 supply, but it's Roach Ravager. It's a lot of supply for not a ton of value. Oh, yeah. No. 3 tanks in there, ton of Marines, Medevacs all over the place. She hasn't really been able to kill many Medevacs here today. In fact, 0 Medevacs have gone down. And actually going for a greater Spire, Scarlett is, instead of just Corruptors for now. It looks like maybe she's waiting until the greater Spire's done, then she'll make some Corruptors. Then she'll make Broodlords. But, you know, I just don't have the greatest sense of the fact that Broodlords are amazing, you know? Like, I understand that a lot of Zerg players feel like, man, Maru is so good at turtling up. And Broodlords are supposed to be able to break turtles, right? They're supposed to break siege positions. But then Ghosts exist, and then Thors exist, and then it's just... And then a lot of Broodlords die because they're squishy, and there are things that can hit them from range, and... Anyway, nice drop along the left side here from Maru. Gonna go ahead and wipe out a ton of these drones. Scarlett, pull the drones. He's too late on that. Loses 12 of them. And again, with no Corruptors in the sky, Scarlett is not spending money on Corruptors. Is not really trying to deal with these Medevacs as much as I feel like she normally does. She's one of the best players with Mutalisks, I would say. One of the players that... Oh, there we go. And Medevac actually died to a Queen there after taking 7,000 hits from previous Queens, right? Adrenal Glands coming in. That's a major upgrade. A massively important upgrade, obviously. You know how much I talk about that in this matchup for sure. So I don't know. Ghost Production's coming in. 3 more Command Centers being produced at the same time. 4 more Command Centers being produced at the same time here from Maru. Just absolutely going towards that late game. Going ham on it. Getting the Ghost. Getting the Cloak for the Ghosts. Where is the Greater Spire? Was that just... Oh, there we go. Now making some Corruptors. I was like, was that just a preparation for an eventuality? But no, we're just going for 12-minute Broodlords here, which is not a super common strategy. Again, I feel like most Terrans will go for Broodlords when they feel like they need to, right? When they feel like, okay, everything else I've tried against Maru hasn't worked, I guess we'll do Broodlords now. But for Scarlett, that's her tier 3 tech of choice right now, right? It's not Infestors, it's not Ultralisks, it's gonna be Broodlords. Force of Bile, trying to connect on stuff. Maru is way too smart for that. Banelings roll in, but there's tanks back here, man. Can't just roll Banelings into a position that's got 4 siege tanks protecting it, or I guess 3 in this case. Yeah, Scarlett's in trouble. Like, I know she's been aggressive here, and I know she's maxed out, and I know she's got a bank, and I know her income looks like this. But Maru has just been able to make good trades, expand a whole bunch. He's killed a bunch of workers today, 18, which has definitely slowed Scarlett down. And he knows how to handle Broodlords, and that's the tech here. Actually, Infestor's coming in here too. Pathogen Glands is on the way. So I don't know. If these Broodlords end up winning this game, I'm going to eat my hat, because I just haven't seen Maru lose 2 Broodlords. He just doesn't. And I don't know if even other Terran players are necessarily struggling a lot against them. Just Terran, they used to struggle a lot against Broodlords, but then they were given Thors, their basic single target attack that outranges Broodlords. That was amazing. And then Ghosts have always been a good answer to Broodlords too. And even this little group down here of Maru, just Marine Marauder, he's like, yeah, your Roach Ravager is losing its effectiveness as time goes on here. And that's true. Roach Ravager is the scariest in the first 10 minutes of a game. But as upgrades start to scale up in this matchup, the 3-3 Marine Marauder just tears through 3-3 Roach Ravager. Like, not even close. And that's a big part of that is there's no splash damage with that composition, right? Corrosive Biles, yes, but Marine Marauder can split against Corrosive Biles, you know, with one hand tied behind their back. It's just you need the splash damage. You need something like Fungal. You need Banelings to handle these fast, small, very quick to split units. Bro, +2 flyer attacks on the way. Scarlett, one of the better macro players on Earth too. Like, she's very, very good at taking the entire map. Her creep spread's always amazing. Maruuuuuuuuu's always very good at clearing creep spread though. So this is very much immovable object meets unmovable versus unstoppable? Yeah. Unstoppable object meets immovable object kind of a thing here. More Broodlords coming in. I mean, a Broodlord. We're going to up it to 8 with more Corruptors. Nukes on the way from Maru because he does all his nukes in this matchup in the late game, which we're at 15 minutes. I mean, does that feel like the late game? But I don't know. In StarCraft 2 and then Legacy of the Void, yeah, kind of. 15 is kind of late gamey, isn't it? We're working on a fusion core, maybe some battle. Oh, he's going right into the mech now. We're switching into the mech, boys, making the Thors. We're getting transformation servos. We're getting Infernal Pre-Igniter. We're getting +3 vehicle weapons and 3 more factories being added on. So Maru, interesting, goes for the transition of Marine Marauder Tank Ghost into Mech Ghost, Mech Battlecruiser Ghost. So he can start off with that mech strategy, but he can also start off with Marine Marauder tank stuff and then move into it. Once he's on to, you know, his 6th base, seems reasonable. Not easy to tech switch, but he's working on those vehicle upgrades the whole game because the tanks have been useful the entire game. And interesting. So we'll see. I love the Neural Parasite upgrade. I think a lot of Zerg players neglect that upgrade in this matchup against Maru. Knurling a few Thors can really turn the battle in a ZVT. Knurling some ghosts and EMPing their fellow ghosts can also crazy change the terms of a certain battle here and make the Zerg player in a much happier position. Maru's going for the high capacity fuel tank upgrade, which again is a meme upgrade. Nobody ever gets that one on purpose, and especially Maru, who has got 6 medevacs. It's not like he's got 15 or 20 medevacs, and that's what he's working with his medevac play. I guess maybe for the Thors it's good, but he just wanders onto creep, throws a nuke on top of the Broodlords. Scarlett's like, that's my highest value grouping of units. So yeah, let's check for the dot there. And she does, and she's fine. Nukes take forever to land. It's really difficult to get a massive hit off, you know? Oh, a little fungal bile combination. Ah, Terrans. Terrans might have a little PTSD with that phrase, because, man, back in the early days of Legacy of the Void, when corrosive biles were a thing, and fungal rooted, you would root your Terran group in place with fungal and then corrosive bile them, and everything would die. And there was nothing the Terran player could do about it. And it was obviously overpowered and imbalanced. And so Blizzard fixed it by making fungal slow instead of root. And that seems to have fixed the problem for sure. But man, for a while there, you'd toss a fungal down on a huge group of Marines and Marauders, and they'd just be like, eh, and then you'd corrosive bile them, and everything would die. It was way better than Banelings. Like, way better than Banelings. I guess fungal into Banelings was pretty good as well. But, you know, it's harder for a Marine to hit a Ravager who's that far away from them. If they're rooted, don't ya know. So, yeah, look at this. Surprise! It's mech now, says Maru. What's up? What's up, Scarlett? I got my mech. I got my Thors. I got my tanks. What you gonna do about it? The answer is, well, another Broodlord. One more Broodlord. One. Up to 11 now. I guess as Roaches and Ravagers die, we make Broodlords. So Scarlett attacking down left side doesn't maybe feel like engaging too much with this. Maru's not pushing to kill. Maru's pushing to take half of the map. He's taking this high ground, upgrading to a planetary, expanding bottom left here too. He's going to threaten a little bit here. Going up a ramp is difficult, but nuking up a ramp is totally doable. Let's see if they can take down that ghost before that nuke lands. No, can't do it. Nuke is going to land, but it's going to kill a couple creep tumors, and that's it. Good positioning on that spore. Great positioning on that spore, too, but gets the anti-armor missile tossed down just in case anyway. Yep, so Maru just sieging. He's like, okay, well, I'm going to siege you. Ah! EMP catches all of the infestors. That's game-changing right there. Oh, and then the anti-armor missile, and all the infestors can just watch while this is happening. They'd love to knurl. They'd love to fungal some of this stuff. Nope, they can't do anything because they were clumped up And Maru sneaked up there and got him with the EMP. God, that was a sick play. Does he have enhanced shockwave? He does. He's got the enhanced shockwave. Yep, and that's snipe, 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 snipe. Woo! This ghost just walked up there on that creep into nuke range and sniped a ton of stuff. Bam. Not enough to kill a hatchery, as we all know, but you can follow up with like a bunch of +3 Thors and finish that hatchery off, no problem. Yeah, so that's a dead hatch, unless Scarlett can save it. Got some energy for fungal now. I don't know if those are new infestors or what, but yeah, the hatch goes down. Scarlett's down to 168 supply, sitting on 17,000 minerals and 6,000 gas. She's just not... She was planning on using Neural on these Thors, and then the EMP completely ruined all of her plans. Like I said, I think that might have been a game-changing... It's not a game-ending move because this game isn't over, but wow. That might have been everything. Losing that base, which is now going to snowball into probably losing this base. The infestors, they generate energy fairly quickly, but still not enough energy for a neural onto these girls. And trying to hold it down. I don't assume infestors are a girl. Is that true? Anyway, yeah, this base is going to die too. The infestors are like, well, oh, God, another... Fungal goes down, but everything else gets EMP'd for the second time, and another base goes down. Yeah, it's just Scarlett not keeping operational control of her infestors well enough. And that's it. That changed everything about this game. Scarlett still has a decent bank here, but she keeps getting her spellcasters absolutely eliminated from the battles. Whereas the spellcasters with Maru are doing great. They can cloak, they've got enough energy to throw down EMPs and throw down nukes as necessary. Corrosive Bile lands, Liberator gets some shots off, Broodlords come in, that base gets canceled. Scarlett's getting starved out here. Nice Corrosive Biles, takes down a single tank, which is good. Like, Scarlett's nibbling away at Maru's composition here. Beautiful fungal on all of those ghosts. Okay. All right, Corrosive Bile helps take down one of the Thors. The Broodlords are taking big-time hits. They're very injured, but they're continuing to rain Broodlings down upon these Thors. Is Scarlett going to push this back? Scarlett pushes this back. Corrosive Biles on the Liberator, which did end up getting a bunch of kills for sure. And then these tanks have to get out of here too, so they unsiege, but so many Broodling hits there. So many Broodling hits. Chomping, 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 and now Scarlett is the aggressor. Quite possibly. Gonna set up on this planetary. There aren't any ghosts. Okay, there's one ghost that just showed up. Tank's gonna die. That Thor's getting repaired. There's Blue Flame Hellbats helping to keep it alive here too. Scarlett up to 195 supply. Mara at 198. Maybe transfuses on these queens would be cool. Maybe bring in some these queens. These Broodlords would be nice. Thor's getting some big time chunky hits off on the Broodlords there. Thor's again pretty good in this situation. Scarlett is losing more than Maru is, but has more money to replace stuff than Maru does, although not really on the gas side as much. But this planetary is going to fall. The repair here for Maru, I'm not sure if it's a great idea. Just draining resources off of a completely lost situation. Another EMP! Another EMP on those infestors. They've been doing work, but not nearly as much work as they wanted to do when they first popped into this battle zone. They've gotten some fungals off. Not a single neural's gone down because I don't think any of them have had enough energy for a neural at all once today. If Maru wins this, it's going to be because of that. If Scarlett wins this, in spite of losing all... Oh, there's a neural. In spite of losing all of her infestors' capabilities for most of this game, I don't know what to tell you. Scarlett may be playing one of the better games of her life here, but suddenly everything is dead for Scarlett. She has to retreat with some very injured Broodlords. She's down to 121 supply. Does have about 9,000 gas remaining and 9,000 minerals and only 500 gas remaining. Not good, because what she needs to handle this are gas-heavy units. The Lings aren't going to win this battle, but she's making 44 of them anyway because that's what she can do. Actually, yeah, the Hellbats in here and the Hellbats with the Blue Flame and the +3 attack, Lings are going to struggle in this situation for sure. Has re-expanded top side here. Maru's going to try to take that sucker down. Can he do it? We got the Corruptors picking off Medivacs, which does reduce the capabilities of the Hellbats very much. So a lot of those are dead. A nice fungal catches down on half of the Ghost group here. Another Medivac going down here too, but the snipes on the Broodlords, the Thor shots on the Broodlords. And that's your GG, Scarlett. Gets taken down. All the Broodlords died. 34 Broodlords died here today. Absolutely insane plays there from Maru. Opening with a Marine Marauder, a Medevac. I mean, I was going to say Widowmine, but no Widowmines here today because he was saving that gas for the mech instead, right? For the Thors, for the tanks, for the Hellbats, for the Ghosts, which aren't mech, but still, and no battle cruisers here today, actually. But what a great... Man, again, I told you, Broodlords are not the answer. They're just not. They used to be overpowered. They used to be insanely good. And then Terran was struggling, and Blizzard helped him out, and maybe overtuned a little bit. Although, I don't know. They look better when they're in the hands of Maru, as compared to other Terran players. Have I seen Broodlords look this bad against Bunny, or, like, Innovation? No. It's just Maru. It's just Maru's the god here. He's the one who can make Broodlords look really terrible. 34 Broodlords died today. That is so many. And what did they do? They ended up losing this space and losing this space. They killed this. The Broodlords today killed a single base of Maru's. They couldn't push into this one. They couldn't get anything else done. They couldn't defend this one. They lost 2 bases and they killed 1, and all of them died. Not good. Not a great unit, I don't think. Anyway, wow. And resources lost here tell the story too. 43,000 lost for Scarlett, 32,000 for Maru. End of the game here, we're looking at, 8 Thors, 4 siege tanks, 14 ghosts. Yeah, it's a pretty good army. 193 supply here from Maru. He ended up losing 11 Thors, right? I mean, the Thors, Scarlett was handling them pretty well, but 11 Thors down for 34 Broodlords. 11 Thors and 16 Ghosts, right? Those were effectively the anti-Broodlord units today. And I think they paid for themselves. I think they paid for themselves and a lot more. So, well done. And the EMPs. I need to come back to the EMPs because they changed everything. There's a huge group of 8 Infestors ready, waiting. Gonna do some Neurals here. Gonna do some Fungals here. No, says a Ghost. Wanders up, bam. EMPs them all. This base falls as a result. Comes over here. Another EMP catches all of... The first one catches half. The second one catches all of them. Bam. This base dies too. EMP is great. Scarlett, I think she could have won this game if she'd kept better control of her Infestors. Kept them further away from the Ghosts. Maybe tried to snipe Ghosts that tried to wander up here. But yeah, end of the day, just so difficult. So difficult to handle this kind of mechy stuff without any Infestor play. Outside of Fungals, which just aren't... Against mech, not super hot. Not super hot. All right, good. So that right there is going to be it from me today. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void and a Patreon cast. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.